At the end of December 2024, China's Chengfei and Shenfei released a new generation of warplanes. Chengfei's fighter jet is called J-36 by the public, while Shenfei's fighter jet is called J-50. As for the J-50, there is a theory on the internet that this fighter jet may be boarded on the Fujian ship, and that it may be a sixth-generation shipboard aircraft. When it comes to this issue, we need to determine one thing, that is, Chengfei's J-36 and Shenfei's J-50. On what basis is called a sixth-generation machine? After the first flight of these two fighters, the outside world is the default of the sixth-generation aircraft, but few people can say why they are called sixth-generation aircraft. Given what these two fighters have demonstrated, the so-called sixth-generation aircraft actually have a very typical ability to link multiple military platforms. From the earliest propeller airplanes to fourth-generation planes like the F-15, fighter planes have become more and more powerful, but the increase in fighter performance has only improved their own performance. With the advancement of electronic technology and communication technology, modern air warfare increasingly requires multiple military platforms to link up with each other. For example, if you want to fight an air war, you need to have an early warning aircraft to help the warplanes to detect the position of the other side's warplanes, as well as to help you deal with some of the information generated in the air war. In addition, if the other side of the warplanes have more advanced avionics system, then your side also need electronic warfare warplanes in order to and the other side of the electronic countermeasures. As you can see, the modern air war to fight a battle is not the kind of World War II that all rely on the model of the fighter. You need many types of military aircraft to cooperate. With the further development of technology, this trend of needing multiple types of airplanes to cooperate in air combat will become more and more obvious. By the time the sixth-generation airframe comes around, it reflects an extremely strong ability to interact between multiple military platforms. Like Chengfei's J-36 fighter, the public's first impression of it after its maiden flight was large. This type of warplane was accompanied by the J-20 on its maiden flight, and it can be clearly seen that it is bigger than the J-20 by a circle. The larger body can obviously carry more and larger equipment. With these more and bigger equipments, the fighter can get stronger ability to interact between multiple military platforms. For example, the J-36 can carry a larger radar and onboard computer to act as a makeshift early warning aircraft. Another example is that the J-36 can control a large number of drones, and by carrying a large and varied number of drones, it can take on many tasks that the J-36 airframe itself cannot perform. It can be said that the concept of the sixth-generation aircraft is not just a fighter aircraft anymore, it may refer to a system in the future. When we say fifth-generation aircraft, we mean the individual J-20, F-22 and other fighters, while the sixth-generation aircraft, it may be the collective name of Chengfei J-36 and a bunch of other airplanes or flying machines. Speaking of which, you may wonder, since the J-36 is considered a sixth-generation aircraft because it may form a system with other fighters, what about Shenfei's J-50? You should know that the Shenfei J-50 was accompanied by J-16s during its maiden flight, and its size is much smaller than that of the J-36. With the size of J-50, it is obvious that it can't carry so many and so big avionics system of J-36. In fact, with the size of the J-50, it just proves that it is a shipboard sixth-generation aircraft. Because the bigger the aircraft is, the harder it is to land and take off from the carrier. If such a huge fighter like J-36 is on an aircraft carrier, the impact it generates when landing will be so huge that the carrier may not be able to resist it. The reason why China's J-20 fighters did not launch a carrier version, but instead launched a J-35, which is much smaller than the J-20, as a carrier aircraft is because of its size and weight. When designing a sixth-generation aircraft, it is obvious that a larger body size will have an advantage. Larger fighters have greater range and load capacity, as well as greater ability to interact with other military platforms. However, large fighters can't go on an aircraft carrier, so the J-36 proposal to be a carrier-based aircraft will be passed over. The J-50 is much smaller than the J-36, and there are many designs on the fuselage that can slow down the aircraft during landing, such as a larger chord ratio compared to the J-36, and a full-motion drogue tail, etc. These designs are more favorable to the J-50's ability to interact with other military platforms. All of these designs are more favorable for the J-50 to be on the carrier. As for the J-50's ability to interact with multiple military platforms, It won't be too lacking either, although the smaller size compared to the J-36 allows the J-50 to carry less equipment compared to the J-36. However, it should be noted that the J-50 is a heavy fighter in its own right, and its size is comparable to that of the J-16. Like the US F-35 is smaller than the F-22, but it has more avionics stuffed inside the body, which enables the F-35 to take on more combat missions. So although the J-50 is smaller compared to the J-36, it can still squeeze in a lot of equipment and can realize the ability to interact with multiple military platforms. If the internal volume of the body is not enough, it is just like the American F-35 fighter, squeezing the volume of the built and fuel tanks in bomb bay, and realizing more functions of the fighter by cutting down the range and bomb capacity. As for the J-50's ability to interact with multiple military platforms, another Chinese weapon that probably proves this ability is the Type 076 amphibious assault ship. As we all know, China's Type 076 amphibious assault ship is an amphibious assault ship equipped with electromagnetic catapults, and is the world's first drone carrier with catapult capability. Compared to large aircraft carriers, the 076 is cheaper and can be produced faster. In the future, when Chinese warships go to war, one or two carriers with a large number of 076s can create a scene of a group of shipborne fighters with a large group of drones. When the J-50 has a strong multi-military platform interaction capability and can control a large number of drones, this carrier allotment is extremely combat effective. The J-50 itself acts as a command center for a large group of drones, and can maneuver these drones to go on anti-ship and ground strike missions, or even to go on suicide missions. In this regard, the J-50 also fits well with the conclusion that the VI is a system